Good morning, good morning. Welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am your host, Kimberly Dixon. While we wait for a few people to join us, I am going to go ahead and start showing you the garden. So this morning, I realized that I have not shown you the sweet potatoes the entire summer. And so I'm going to take a minute this morning just to walk you through this area. This entire area here is some variety of potatoes, mainly sweet potatoes. This is a sweet potato that was started from an actual sweet potato last January 2021. And it has some insect damage, but not enough to be concerned about it, because I haven't been using any kind of insecticide or anything like that, because I want them to be as healthy as possible. But they are growing quite well, because I had to recover them because some of the sweet potatoes had started to grow on top of the earth. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a fantastic yield from those. This is another pot of sweet potatoes. Some sweet potatoes, and it's a different variety. It's a different color, and they have a different texture on the inside, but they were given to me by my sister Valerie. And I went in the laundry room, I think it was maybe February or March, to gather some of them to cook. And one of them had actually started growing slips. So instead of throwing it away or cooking it immediately, I threw it in some dirt. And so now I've got two different varieties of sweet potatoes growing. This is another pot of sweet potatoes. It's the same type variety as the first pot that I showed you. Again, that was started in January. This is potatoes, but I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember if they're red potatoes or white potatoes, but I guess we'll see when I dig them up. Once they die back, then that'll be the time to take them out of the pot and see what we have. So to continue with the rest of the tour, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mabel. Good morning, Tony. So glad to have you guys on this morning. This is my Japanese eggplant. This is y'all see that black spot back there, right there? That's why most of the time when I'm in the garden, I have gloves on. Because when you stick your hand in, good morning, Latrinda, it could be anything in there, and you don't want to get bit by anything. But look at the eggplants. I have been eating, eggplant all summer long, and these things are so delicious. I mainly use it in a vegetarian style lasagna, but I could eat it every day. But my sunshine doesn't eat it, but this is Japanese eggplant. It's a heat-loving plant, and it produces very well. This is a pepper patch. Got red cayenne pepper. As you can see, there are a few on there that are ready to be picked. And this is jalapeno pepper. Look at those peppers. This is my romaine tomato. So throughout the summer, in the very beginning of the summer, it was producing very well. But as it got good morning, Marsha, got super hot, it stopped. Tomatoes don't like it when it's over 90 degrees. Which, most of our summer is over 90 degrees. So production slows down. But as you can see, as it has cooled off, this baby is ready to go again. So we'll be getting some romaine tomatoes, and the chives help keep insects away. That was a cucumber plant, but as you can see, it was gone. Zucchini is gone now. This is my cherry tomato. I did some heavy pruning on it this morning because it's still growing, but a lot of it had died off. And the reason I do that is because you don't want your plant putting energy into trying to keep something alive when it could put that energy. Good morning, Michael. Michael, I'm ready for you. Come on. I'm ready. You don't want your plant trying to put energy into saving a limb that is already dying. So it's best to just go ahead and prune it. Michael said, glad to catch your live. My Japanese eggplant is doing well as well. Very yummy. Yes. Invite us over for some dinner or something, Michael. That's funny. I'm a gardener and I like to grow stuff, but I don't like to cook. Strange paradigm. This is my Tony said that will preach. Everything, Mabel said, everything you put in your anointed hands on. Woo! I received that word, Mabel. Thank God for your wisdom and your sharing it with us. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. I always pray to God, what is it that he wants me to talk about on Saturdays? Because this is his doing, not mine. And on the Saturdays when I don't get anything from him, I don't say anything because I don't want it to be my words. But this is the sweet banana pepper. And those marigolds. Look at the marigolds. Marigolds are so pretty. Those some more marigolds. And they help keep harmful insects away, but I hate the way they smell. This is ginger. Now, I won't harvest this before it gets cold, so I'll give it an insecticide soap and bring it in because it likes hot weather, and it won't survive outside during the winter, but it's not quite ready yet. All my varieties of mint. Let's just smell the leaves. Oh, that's lemon balm. That's sweet mint, and that's strawberry mint. But here's some of my fall vegetables. That's kale and collard greens. More collard greens. More kale. More collard greens. This is my red bell pepper. Got lots of peppers on here. And my green bell pepper. Interesting note that even though this is slated as a red bell pepper, once it gets to the size you want it, if you need a green bell pepper, go ahead and use it because it's ready to go. There's the asparagus bed with some marigolds in it as well. Some citronella plants that are dying, and the reason they're dying is because I have stopped taking care of them because they paid a nice amount of money for them, but they did absolutely nothing. And I mean nothing as far as controlling insects. There is a calla lily plant. I like planting flowers with vegetables. Some I plant because they have an actual purpose as far as insect and biting insects or deterring insects. Others I get just because I like them. And I love varieties of lilies. That's a couple of vegetables that I harvested this morning. That's an example of incomplete pollination, but guess what? It's going to get ate anyway. Y'all, it's humid out here this morning. So I want to thank you all for getting on just this minute. So I want to talk about transition. Michael said, I think I'm going to try collards. And Tony said, don't put energy into something that is dead. Girl, yeah, that's a word. But don't put energy into something that is dead. Cut that dead thing off so that you can continue to live. But good morning, Sean. Good morning to everyone who has joined us. Transition. So transition is a process or a period of change. And as you can see, the garden this morning is going through a process or a period of change. I don't know if you noticed, but there were empty spots. There were empty pots. Mabel said you better preach that word, girl. Sometimes the word comes in unexpected places. Don't necessarily think that someone has to be a prophet or a prophetess to have a word for you. So be open to whatever God has for you. But if you notice, there were pots that were empty. There were spots that are empty where I've completely moved the thing. So the garden is in a period of transition. It doesn't look as pretty as it did in the height of the summer when everything was full and just producing abundantly. It is going through that period of change. After we plant things, different plants have different seasons. Some are fall and winter. So what we have in here now are plants that are going to prosper during the fall and the winter. That will be your kale, your collards, your Brussels sprouts, your cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower. All of those things are things that thrive during the spring and the fall. And in North Carolina, they can actually make it through the entire winter if you take care of them. But they go through this period. They go through this process of maturing. Good morning, Cornelius. And once those plants go through the process, they go through that period of transition from going from a seedling to a mature plant, then is when you can eat off of it. But it's got to go through that process of transition. And in life, sometimes we don't want to go through the process. Excuse me. We don't want to go through the hard parts. I want you to think about how hard it is for a plant to continue to extend its roots, to take up water, to take up nutrients, and grow so that you can actually eat off of it. It's a process. So I remember back when I was, 29, that seems like eons ago, I decided that I didn't want relaxed hair anymore. And I decided that I didn't want to go through the process of twisting or my relaxed hair and then doing a chop. I chopped all my hair off and started with locks that were teeny tiny. Some people were in complete support of my decision. Other people said it's too short, it's unprofessional. I got that at the time I worked at Bank of America, but I worked in a research area, and one, it wasn't none of their business what I do with my hair, but two, it wasn't unprofessional, and it always stayed neat. But I got the comments that it was unprofessional. They could not see that I was in a period of transition. But this is the thing. It wasn't just with my hair. It was who I was as a woman. It was who I was as a person. I was going through a period of transition where I knew I needed something different. So I cut the hair off. I went through the period of it growing slowly and, just turning into the locks that I knew it could be. But once it became long, flowing, and beautiful, everybody was like, oh, your hair is so beautiful. I wish my hair looked like that. But your hair won't look like that if you're not willing to go through the process. If you're not willing to go through that period of transition where it doesn't look as pretty as it does at the height. When it doesn't look as pretty, when you can't look around and see what you think is supposed to look like. So an example of that in the garden is this asparagus. It doesn't look like asparagus. It's floppy, it's leaning over, and matter of fact, it's going through the process of where it's about to die. But what people don't realize is asparagus is one of those plants that you planted and you don't eat off of it the first season. But you'll be able to eat off of that the second season, the third season, the fourth season, the fifth season, all the way to 15 to 20 seasons. So for the next 15 or 20 years, I won't plant anything else in that bed because that asparagus is going to come back and it's going to feed me. So that's what I want you to think about. When you're going through the process, it's a period of transition or a period of change. You've come too far to turn around and go back to where you were, but what you see on the horizon for you, you're not quite there yet. But don't give up. You cannot go back to where you came from. You can't go back to Egypt. And what you see on the horizon, sometimes you be like, oh my God, it's so far off. I'm never going to get there. But this is what I want you to do. Even if you got to squint, don't take your eyes off of it. During your period of transition, whether that be for your household, your business, your on your job. Good morning, Rhonda. Don't take your eyes off of the process. Don't take your eyes off of the prize. Don't take your eyes off of the vision that you have for yourself, and don't take your eyes off the vision that God has for you. Even if you got to squint to see that thing, good morning, Mickey. Mickey's from my hometown. I went to school with her sons, and they played baseball with my brothers. So I'm always glad to see folks from Walnut Cove get on the live. But life is a process. We are constantly going through periods of transition. But if we get discouraged, if we get faint, we will give up. We will grow tired. We will turn around and go back to where we came from when we know that did not work. That's like when two people have been in a relationship and they know that relationship is not working for them. They know they are not good for each other. They break up, they stay apart a month or two. But this dating game out here today, it ain't what it used to be. It is full of challenges, to say the least. So instead of to look towards the future and what the possibilities are, They go back to Egypt. They go back to where they came from when they know that doesn't work. When they know it's not healthy for them. When they know they stagnate each other. But they would rather go back to what they know than to continue to look towards the future, to squint when you have to towards the future. But during this period of transition, that's your time to re-strategize, replan, reconfigure, do whatever it is that you need to do. I'm reconfiguring the garden. I'm replanting some things so that I can eat come the winter and late fall and early winter. I don't know if you saw the sweet potatoes in the very beginning, but I planted those sweet potatoes in January. And I would not harvest them until October. And then I take them out for a month and let them cure so that I can eat them for Thanksgiving. So that we can feast off of them for Thanksgiving. So that my family can enjoy them for Thanksgiving. It's a process. Some of the stuff you plant out here, take for instance these cucumbers. They produce quickly. They grow quickly. But as you can see, this plant is on its last legs. It's turning brown, the leaves. I need to cut that off. The only reason I didn't pull it up completely is because these cucumbers, they're called munchers. They're delicious. I'm going to give them another day or two to mature because I want my cucumbers. And then I'm going to pull this one up because it's done. It's past its prime. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to replant something else in that pot so that we can continue to eat. So when you're going through that period of transition, when your garden is going through that period of transition, and your garden is anything that you're growing, any kind of seed that you put in the ground, whether that be for a children, a spouse, a house, putting a seed in the ground for a house is I'm saving and I'm getting my credit straight. I'm doing that. Whatever your garden is, it does not have to be growing vegetables. Everybody has some type of garden. What's in your garden? When it goes through a period of transition, keep tending to it. Keep watering it. Keep fertilizing. Keep growing that dream. Keep looking towards the vision that God has for you. Good morning, Jocelyn. So during that period of transition, if you got to squint, keep looking unto the hills from which cometh your help coming from the Lord. But keep tending to your garden. Your business, your family, your relationships, your career, your job, because I'm just going to say this. Don't let anybody shame you into thinking everybody got to have a business. That ain't God's plan for everybody. If you're supposed to go to your job and minister and support the people on your job, and that's what God told you to do, that's where you're supposed to be. Don't let anybody shame you into working. There is nothing wrong with having a good, honest job, as the old people say. If that's what makes you happy and that's what fulfills you, then that's what you do. But if you know that there's something else for you and there's God has given you another vision for your life, then you pursue that. But don't let anybody shame you into going to work every day. That's just my take on it. But anyway, your garden. Grow whatever's in your garden. Whatever seed you put in the ground, keep tending to it. Keep watering it. Keep fertilizing it. And watch and see the bountiful harvest that you produce. That God produces through you. Because He's got a purpose and a plan for everyone. Look at all these aroma tomatoes. All the jalapeno peppers. The red bell peppers. The Japanese eggplant. And all the things that we see growing here. But you also see the empty spots. The pulled up plants. There's an empty spot. There's 2 pulled up plants. Because the garden is going through its season of transition. But come late winter and late fall and early winter, everything out here is going to be filled in with something. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet. If anybody sees any packets of snow peas, all off the topic, but I'm serious about this. Any packets of snow peas. I have not been able to find any, and there are lots of different varieties of peas. If you see some snow peas, pick them up. And I'll pay you back your 25 cents, $1, $3, whatever the pack of seeds cost. Because depending on where you get it from, they have different prices. But I need some snow peas. This is a red alert. Snow peas. Snow peas. We need snow peas. Because I love them and my son loves them. But guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. And don't forget that during this season of transition, re-strategize, reconfigure, move some things around, replant some stuff, But you've come too far. Excuse me. You've come too far to turn around and go back to where you came from. And what your vision is too far off in the future, but you're too close to it to stop walking now. Don't stop walking. Michael said, I'll keep an eye out. Thank you. Thank you. And Mabel said, thank you for your words of wisdom and encouragement and your life-changing nuggets that God has allowed you to share with us. Thank you, Mabel. I really appreciate those words. And I thank you all for getting on and watching and sharing this time with me this morning. Guys, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.